So I am very excited to be very first back in action, I guess, kind of podcast for the first one in a really long time. And so I was actually talking to a client yesterday, and she was like, when are the podcasts coming back? So I thought this was a really cool opportunity. It's Saturday, and so we are walking, and so I'm asking you to walk with me. So here we are back in action, and it's been a really, really cool span of time since we were, consistently filming. So I'm really excited to get back into doing this once a week. So you can expect these on Saturdays. And if you miss them, obviously they'll still be here in this channel. And so you can catch up whenever. And then also I'll put them on the She Rises and Thrives website too. So, but I'm really excited to be back and to fill you in. So everything has been awesome. We published the book, right? Just like we were hoping to, and everything went off without a hitch. And so we rose the ranks in Amazon, and it's just beautiful and awesome and wonderful. And so now we have moved on to the next goal, which was starting our community and getting back into the coaching, which is the best thing ever. So I'm really, really excited. Yeah, if you want information on the group, is so cute. The community is called Resilience and Radiance. It's R&R for short. And it's pretty crazy. I get to do group coaching once a week, and we're going to be accommodating everybody's time zone. So I have some clients who are in Germany and Sweden and New Zealand. And so we have one that's going to be a little bit earlier in the day and one that's going to be a little bit later in the night. And so they'll swap on and off each week. And we have themed days. So they're going to be like Mindset Monday, Tasty Tuesday, Workout Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, Fun Friday, Set Yourself Up for Success Saturday. That's all about like planning and prepping and everything. And then Self-Care Sunday. So it's awesome. We're going to have giveaways like Rise, the coffee, Moon Brew, brownies. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. So fun. So I hope you'll join me. If you want more information on that, you can go to the website, sherisesandthrives.com, and all of that will be there. And then obviously the coaching one-on-one. So I am super, super excited. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about on today's podcast was, so when we were really ramping up in getting ready for the launch of the book, and the last few weeks of the publishing were really crazy. The publisher that I went through this time was a self-publisher, because so Simon & Schuster, they were a little wary about having the faith chapter included, and I really thought that was important, so I went with doing it myself. And so the last couple weeks with the line-by-line editing was intense. And so between that and just like, the normal juggling of everyday life and 3 kids and 2 dogs and 1 cat and a bunch of jobs and everything, I wanted to just take this as an opportunity, because upon reflection, I really want to encourage you to surround yourself with awesome people. And I mean that with every bit of my heart. So whether it's my family, my kids are awesome. They're like, I know I'm biased, but I think they're the most amazing kids in the world. So anyway, but they were such a huge help in just in keeping me sane, like home-wise. And then besties are the best, and there is no way of over amplifying that enough, because talk about being able to keep somebody sane, whether they hear you talk about the same thing over and over and over again, or they just listen, or they reflect to you what they think might be going on, or they provide you with like helpful tips and tricks and things that they, while they're listening to you. The list just goes on, and it's so crazy. The people who I depended on throughout were just amazing. And then also, it helps to know that you're not crazy. And it sounds silly, but like sometimes you kind of get in your own head about like, why am I doing this? Or is this actually going to be something that's good or beneficial, or whatever the case might be? And so it's awesome to have people in your corner who can reflect to you like, no, you're good. You keep going, keep doing this. Or like, abort mission. Like, what are you doing? So I wanted to really hone in on that, because and even like my Thursday night group of ladies, like my second family, I can't tell, like I got to see everybody just the night before last. And it's incredible when you connect with people in a way that just, sets your heart on fire. It's so awesome to feel supported, and like people love you, and that no matter what, like you have people in your corner who you can turn to. So I don't know, it's just been a lot of awesome reminders in that sense this week. And what I think is cool is, like, I have two besties who we're just all busy, and when we have things in life, sometimes we don't connect on the regular as much as we would like to. And if you have really wonderful friends, that doesn't matter, like you connect and it's like you just pick up right where you left off. So anyway, so that was one thing. I wanted to really encourage you to, if you are embarking on a hard time in your life or taking on something that is a big deal, whether it's like a career change. I have a girlfriend, hi Jess, who's due with her twins in 6 days. So, I mean, like major life changes, right? And so it's like when you are getting ready for those things, and shooting for the moon is the first thing that is kind of what comes to mind. And surrounding yourself with great people is amazing. Really trusting yourself. That's a major thing that I've learned along this way is I kind of had no time for fluff. So I had to eliminate a lot of things and just didn't even have the time or the headspace to take care of things that were not my business or not going to behoove me or my family. And so we cut a lot of fluff. For the first time in my life, I think I was really discerning about either what I took on or who we let in. And it made for a huge shift in how we kind of just like flowed with our day. But man, did it make for a huge difference. So just know, like, believe in yourself and trust your gut, because I think it's the coolest thing in the world when we start really focusing on like what our body and mind are telling us, right? I mean, we talk about the cues and clues of what our body's telling us to do, and what our gut is telling us to do, whether we're talking about the energy, the hunger, the strength and stamina, or the sleep. And that's back to another previous podcast episode. But in terms of even just having boundaries and who we let into our world, or what we say yes to, what we say no to, all of these things, they're so huge and they have such a huge impact, especially if you're already spread pretty thin. So just trust your gut, trust yourself. And it's awesome how it's almost like your body and mind start thinking like, she's listening to us. Let's tell her more. Because I definitely started getting way more downloads, it feels like, in terms of like, this is good for us, this is not. And I had to think on it less, and the reactions were more immediate. Like, I just trusted myself and was like, yes or no. So that was really cool. And then obviously when I was needing somebody to check in on, I had my support network. And then there was another last thing that I was thinking on this morning. Oh, you got to take care of you. So this is the first time that I have ever been spread super, super thin and didn't have burnout, which has absolutely blown my mind, because there have been so many other times where I even had less on my plate than this. And it was like, that whole experience of where it's like, it feels like your bones hurt and you're exhausted, and it's almost like you're depressed, but you're also anxious. Like, there's just every single negative emotion possible, and your mind is almost against you. And so this time it was so wild to be able to have my level of productivity stay pretty much the same. I mean, it would fluctuate depending on if I needed a rest. I would honor myself for the first time and really just say like, no, I'm going to take this weekend off and do that. Or get to the end of the day and be like, no, 6 o'clock shut off time, we're not working into the night, or whatever the case might be. But I just started honoring myself and really tuning in again to those cues and clues, and started paying attention to even like down to my nutrition and my fitness. And like, I'm even back to being able to do HIIT again. Who knew? I thought I was done forever and ever and ever. And here I am, like, absolutely loving it, which just goes to show, I mean, sometimes you just need to listen to your body, and when your adrenals are shot and you can't even take another high intensity anything, let alone a workout, then honor that. And then who knows, the next phase of life, you may be loving it again. But it's just been a really cool insight in terms of paying attention to what I needed and putting that first. And another cool thing is that it's almost like by doing that, everybody else around me kind of was respected. Like, I didn't have to say anything, but it was kind of like, okay, well, like, you know, if somebody wanted to stay up late, it was like, I'm going to bed. And then everybody else started going to bed early too. And then at work, it was like, no, you know, not answering anything after like 5 or 6, and people stopped asking things after 5 or 6, you know? So it's almost like I started setting boundaries and thought that, you know, it might be an inconvenience to other people, but they were just doing, I was like teaching them what I was okay with before. And then when I started not being okay with certain things and started, you know, putting the boundaries, they didn't even care. They were just like, okay, that's what it is. Who knew, right? And so it was like a lot of learning in terms of, you know, or awareness, I should say. That's the better word, right? So it's like an awareness that if I put myself first, it was kind of like everything fell into place really beautifully. And then, so this is another crazy thing. I started having like the headspace enough where everything that really did need my attention got it, but like 100%. So when I was actually meeting with my counselor and talking to him about, you know, some scatteredness and things that were going on. And he was like, oh, you know, why don't you, there's this hard work book. That's the title, Hard Work. And the author proposes that you do things in rhythms. And you know, I'm all about rhythms. So I ate that up and was like, all right, let's go. So I started implementing, you know, like when I first wake up, what do I like to do? I love to, you know, whether it's my Bible reading, journaling, meditation. So it was like, okay, let's do those 3 things for the first hour after I wake up, obviously walking the dogs. And then we do those 3 things. And then I roll right into work and I do that for like 4 hours. And then I take like a 4-hour break and then I go back to work for 4 hours and then we're done for the day. But I can't tell you how crazy awesome my productivity has been and my focus and being able to kind of just go in this really good flow that maximizes whether it's my work productivity when I'm working or my rest and relaxation during those 4 hours that I do my workout, my lunch, and then like errands if we need it, or I do my second meditation in that time. And then I kind of, you know, just, I think I said I do my workout then. So, and then at the end of the day, everything is done, but I also don't feel like super stressed out. And I'm not even telling you, I can't even tell you enough how productive I've been. Like Wednesday, I spoke at an international conference first thing in the morning as the keynote speaker, which was incredible. And then had like the most productive day of meetings, calls, and community development. And it was like, this is insane. So that's just been kind of the norm, but without any burnout and without any sensation of like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So I wanted to share that and I wanted to share on all 3 of these things because for me to have gone through this, you know, pretty intense time period where, I mean, I had to also kind of shut everything down. So that's why I haven't done a podcast episode until now. I just got back into the weekly blogging. The community is now, I mean, everything. The coaching that I had to take a complete break from because it wouldn't be fair to any clients because I didn't even have the headspace to be paying attention, let alone, you know, consistent support. So now that we're back into everything, it's so awesome to be in this place where everything is not only done that needed to get done, and it was done spectacularly, and that I'm really proud of, but also here we are where it's like, now we get to go into round 2 where we see everything kind of come to fruition, all of the groundwork that we laid, but we also have the energy and the focus to be able to enjoy it and do it and make it the most that it can be, right? So I just wanted to share that because I know so many people are going through so many big changes right now. And so whether you're having twins or starting a new job or starting retirement, Shay, or I mean, like major life changes that are unexpected, Shelby. So we have so many different things in our life and in our world, and it's so hard sometimes to feel like we're doing the right thing. But I think if we use these 3 things, right, making sure that we have support, trusting our gut, right, and then taking care of ourselves. So these are the 3 things that I really wanted to hone in on in today's podcast, because I think, and I'm pretty sure I'll obviously follow up and let you know as I test it out, but I think this might be like the key to success across the board. So if we can just focus on these 3 things, then it's like everything just falls into place naturally. And I mean, one of the things that I like to say a lot is it's either going to be awesome or awful, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it our best, and we're going to see what's going to happen. And so if we can do these 3 things all along, right, having our support system in place so that we can check in, make sure that we stay sane and that we're not crazy in what we're doing. So that's number 1. Number 2, being able to trust your gut, right? So, and I can't even tell you how cool it is to be able to utilize the cues and clues that I've been using forever and ever with clients, but now to be able to have that just be as a daily, it's kind of like I just trust it as a knee-jerk reaction now, whether I'm going grocery shopping or trying to propose a new timeline of action steps for a new client. It's been pretty incredible to see it just kind of flow. And then obviously the last one, making sure that you take care of you, which really ties into those cues and clues, because if you need sleep, give yourself sleep. If you are too fried to go to that spin class, then don't go. If you think that spin class might be the answer to your prayers in terms of being able to alleviate anxiety, then do it, but really let your body and your mind lead the way, and just take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And something that somebody said the other day that I loved, and I included it in the book in a different way, but just like treat yourself like you would your best friend, like speak to yourself kindly, support yourself in what you're doing, celebrate yourself. Holy cow, that's another thing I'll kind of finish on this note. But so Tuesday, whatever, we had like a crazy day where our fridge broke. There were a couple things that happened that I was like, this is a little nutty that everything is kind of falling apart at the same time, quite literally. But so then I got to the end of the week and I was like, man, I kind of feel like I didn't do much this week. And so I sat down and I wrote out, what did I accomplish this week? And so I went through every single day, and I even went into my journal to see like what I had written about the previous day, or what I was excited about accomplishing that day. And I had the most incredible week. I mean, let alone being the keynote speaker for an international conference, but I really got a ton done. And so when I got to see it on paper, I just kind of listed it out in black and white, and celebrated getting a ton done and really making some magic happen. So I'm hoping that this is going to be helpful to somebody at some point who is, either in the midst of kind of like feeling in a funk, or getting ready for something big, or kind of just feeling like, every day is something that's, what is it? The Groundhog Day. So hopefully it's helpful, but I don't know. I'm just really excited to be back. I'm really excited to be filming this first episode of us being back on track with our Saturday specials for our podcast of Walk With Me. And I just want to thank you for being here, and for being here all along, right? This has been a pretty awesome ride so far of 2025. And to think that this all started with us doing the daily reporting of our 75 hard challenge, right? That's how this all started. That's pretty crazy, because now we have like 10,000 followers in this group, and we started out with, like 3. So I just want to say thank you, and I hope you have an amazing day and a wonderful weekend, and check out She Rises and Thrives. Oh, I would love for you guys to join the group. Okay, so if you can, please come on in. It's women only. And like I said, we're gonna have those themed days. We're gonna have awesome giveaways. You get half off of coaching, which is pretty incredible. You get half off of one-on-ones and on the packages. So that's pretty amazing. And I don't know, I'm just really excited to be able to have this time with you. So I wish you all the best, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.